Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellie and today we're going to talk about this beast behind me but in numbers. You're a bit askew. Let me just try and do that. Right, I hope you had a lovely Christmas and New Year's Eve. Happy New Year from me as well. Today we're going to talk about all of the numbers, everything that I have used up throughout 2025, all of the yarn that I added into my stash, how much money I spent, all of the good juicy things. I am very much myself a numbers person, so I like to do these things for you guys, of course, to see how much my stash has fluctuated, but also for myself, just to get a little bit of an overview, because I think a big stash can get out of hand very quickly, which I have noticed myself as well. Right, grab yourself a beverage, you're knitting, and let's talk about some numbers. So I can happily report that I have used up more yarn this year than I actually added into my stash. This is so exciting. I was in a minus before, then Christmas came around and I got a few balls of yarn, so I had to add them into my stash, which made me panic a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful for these gifts, but I really wanted to stay under the yarn amounts that I added compared to how much I used up. So with the Christmas yarn added, I have used up 8 more skeins than I added into my stash. It used to be 12, like I said, then Christmas came, but 8 skeins, if you think about it, is still a big quantity, even though it doesn't sound like a lot. The way I use my spreadsheet is I calculate, I put in the numbers of balls that I add into my stash, and then I have a separate section for the meters. We'll get to that in a second, how much I have used in meters, etc. But I think just to visualize it a little bit better, it's easier to work in skeins because it's a physical thing you can actually see as one. I started 2025 with 561 skeins. That is 94,112 meters. I used up 64 skeins, so 15,555 meters. And I added 56 skeins, which is 10,610 meters. So the total I am starting 2026 with is 553 single skeins, or 89,167 meters. To me that is super exciting because I've always had a major plus throughout the years. I always bought more yarn than I actually used up, and I have to say I didn't use all of the stash. I knit a lot less this year, or last year should I say, than I usually, or I have done in previous years, let's put it that way, just because time has been very limited. I work a lot and I was at a big knitting slump and I wanted to make small things. Also, I scrap busted a lot last year, so not many big projects have been made. I only finished one sweater, one cardigan, one dress, and if you know, or if you're also a garment knitter, you know that sweaters take up so much yarn and it's the quickest and easiest way to get rid of it out of your stash. But because I haven't made a lot of big garments, I still have a lot of yarn left, I guess. So how could I then stash bust 64 skeins? Well, I sold a lot. From my last stash video, I told myself I really want to get rid of some of the stash because it's overwhelming me, and I know a lot of the things that I have I will never use. Specifically drops, kid silk, mohair. All of those are like leftovers from when I first started knitting. I bought a lot of the stuff. It was constantly on sale. I liked working with it, but I never liked wearing it. I think it's a very scratchy mohair to me, and it's just not for me anymore. So I sold a lot of that. I sold some yarn that I just didn't like the color of, and I actually made some money. Obviously, you will never make as much as you actually bought, as when you actually bought the yarn. That it was not English, I'm very sorry. But in total, I only spent 222 euros and 92 cents on yarn this year. This number has never been this low before. You also have to think that I have delivery costs in that number as well, which I added, not just the yarn price itself. So the whole package, how much it cost me to get this yarn from one place to another. So 222 euros is what I spent. I actually didn't track what I made by selling the yarn, but it's obviously not gonna be even, but I think I got about 50 euros back, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, I have no idea. I'm not too fussed about the money, to be honest. I just wanted to get the yarn out of my stash. That was the main priority. So I'm super happy that I achieved that, and here we are now. So I'm starting 2026 with 553 skeins. I already have the new list added into my spreadsheet. I started in 23 making these things, so like the full-on yarn stash, what's it called? Diary, I guess. Tracker, that's the word I'm looking for. Yarn stash tracker, and I'm in love with it. I can get in there, I can put down project notes, I can track what goes in, what goes out, how much I have left over. The only thing that I want to improve is I want to track my scraps a little bit more. I have a lot of like scraps in the sense of full-on balls I don't have added in my list because I didn't have a project for it. I never tracked the broken into skeins, so the half used up ones, only for sock yarn, but that's also just very wibbly wobbly. So that's something I want to improve my list on. I will record another video for my full stash where I take everything out of the shelves, reorganize it and go through it and see what I would like to sell and what I would like to keep. And because of that, I can then make a new section for like scraps that are left over but not broken into, and how much I have of the scraps. You might think, well, that's kind of either unnecessary or really obvious. I feel like there is no in between. But lately I've been making a lot of like scrap projects, and it would just be nice and it would just make me feel a lot better if I can tick these things off my spreadsheet. Not only because then I love ticking off things, I hope I'm not the only one. Not only because I can then tick off something off my list, but also because it gives me a better overview of what I actually have and not just a general idea of the big things. So that's something I want to work on, that's something I want to do, so stay tuned for the big stash clear out and putting it all on the floor, etc., because my stash is fairly big. And yeah, I hope you had a very successful year this year as well, and you are really happy with what you have, what you got for Christmas. I know I definitely am, and I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm just still so happy that I managed to get rid of more things than I actually got in. So I'm still a little bit high when I saw that number on my screen. Anyways, I hope you have a lovely day, week, weekend, whenever you're to watch this, I can only highly recommend that you get some kind of stash tracker also for your scraps, because it makes you feel so good when you get something out of your life. And I hope all of the projects that you're working on right now are working out for you, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Happy knitting! Bye!